We're live.
And creative. Good morning, ERSCon 2021, final day. Sort of like saying good morning, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to watch that show this weekend because you brought it up.
I liked that movie.
Love it. It's so sad to think he's gone.
Yeah.
Everything is being broadcast
Mhm.
out. So do you want to type it real big on a screen and do a screen share or something so everybody can write it down or something? I don't know.
Can I put the link?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I was thinking is,
I mean, you should post the link in chat so that they can just click on it. But
yeah. I'll post it in chat, and I was thinking that I would also make like a little Word document and then make it full screen, and we can just share my screen when needed. You want me to do that
Quickly.
now?
Quickly,
Okay,
we have
alright.
11 minutes.
12.
12. 12 is better. 12 is bigger than 11.
Beverly is on. Oh, do not disturb on your computers.
Thank you. Please forget that one.
You do. Mute on phone.
Done.
Send a nasty gram to Noah.
Who deserves it?
He loves those. Be careful, he'll screenshot your words from last year. Bring it back, yeah.
In excruciating detail.
Circled in red.
Hmm. Huh?
Interesting.
We're up to 15 people. And I'm sure everybody will be joining soon, but you guys can count yourself as the top 1%. Congratulations.
Great job.
Who's streaming? Oh.
I had muted my mic, but I forgot to turn it on.
Can I kill this?
you need one?
We have Richard Clark's.
No, not yet.
Okay, so that one we need to put up.
I will ask for it now.
I think he already sent it to both of us.
Oh, I'm really behind on emails, so.
Yes, I mean several days ago. What's his company name in case he sent it that way?
I don't know that. Let's see if I didn't even see it yesterday.
Oh, I put it over here.
I hope he does. Here you go. I just brought you one more of your favorite.
I actually can't find it, so if you could maybe just write them,
Find what I'm saying? Oh, okay, I will.
and then we also need to put up the Bible.
Yeah, I need to get the.
His and mine, yeah.
Oh, got it.
Rob, I've got that document ready. And I've got it full screen in the PDF, so it'll be nice
Okay.
and pretty. You want me to display it now, or?
Yeah.
Rather than share my screen?
Oh, wait. Do you have one assigned to one of them and another assigned to the others?
What do you mean?
The two rooms with the breakouts?
I haven't made the assignments yet, but I'll do that in just a second.
Should be on the screen. So you know, if you want to hear Jim and Sal, go this way.
I don't think you can actually read directly to a breakout.
Huh?
You can't link
They'll
directly
need
to
the
a
separate
breakout.
links. Saying Jim and Sal click
Yeah.
here.
How do we do
not separate links. They're so you can only link it. You can click into the meeting and then you can join breakout rooms from there.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay.
there's not separate
Perfect.
links. Yeah,
Got
you
it.
can't give separate
Okay.
links.
That's perfect.
So the first thing we're doing is getting everybody to the main meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll be able to see them this time?
Yes.
Yep.
Can we?
Wow.
How many rooms can we get through?
That's
Yeah.
what too.
We can get as many as we want. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we leave your thing up here, and everybody's, which is owed
Right.
to the main meeting.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay.
So do you want me to put my document up now? It'll be,
Yes.
okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna just very quickly write on there. We'll be starting.
Hey gang, just to explain what's going on, we'll be starting in just a few minutes. And today we're actually using the Zoom meetings. So although we had everybody come here so that we could tell you where to go, we're going to be posting the links, and we're going to need everybody to log out of here and log back into a meeting rather than the webinar, and that way you guys can see each other and we can chat and do our roundtable discussions today. So we're going to post that in just a sec.
So the document here says from 8:30 to 12 noon, we'll be doing the two roundtable discussions. So, okay.
Yes, Richard, we will be posting it in the chat. And maybe if somebody could ask in the Q&A, what's the link? Because we can't actually post the starting point, but we can reply to it. So if one of you could possibly go into the Q&A and just say, what's the link? Looks like people are already doing it. Yeah, all right. That's good. Thanks, guys. We're going to post that in the Q&A. We're also going to post it in the chat, and we've got it going up on the main Zoom meeting now.
I'm posting that answer to Beverly Paget's question there.
We did a screen share, and we got a blank screen now.
Really?
Yeah.
ERSCon 2021 is having technical difficulties. Bear with us for 30 more seconds. We need someone's Morgan Freeman voice.
Yeah, I get enough complaints about my voice already. We're not doing Morgan Freeman impersonations.
No, Morgan Freeman is not whiny ass voiced. He's hands ooh.
Can you stick that into the chat as well?
Sanchez's beautiful voice.
Yes.
For us.
Oh my gosh, where is the chat?
To the left of screen share.
Yeah, but it is gone. This is for you.
Hmm?
PowerShell.
It's the same link that we've used the last 2 days.
Yeah. So, still just a black screen or a white screen?
I can hear you now.
Right, but is it still just a white screen?
It's a black screen.
Yeah.
And it says Noah has started a screen share.
Weird. I guess I'm really distracted.
I'm gonna mute myself. Why don't you go ahead and say something? There we go.
Mine is not on.
Mine,
Yeah.
I muted mine.
You told him to turn his on and he did.
Yes. I guess I'll turn off my speakers. I don't need to hear myself.
Oh my, you can't copy that, so that's hard.
Okay.
Is that better now?
No.
Well, we can't. No. That.
We can't even use it.
That works.
Nobody can type all that out.
Yeah. So can you post that in the chat?
Yep.
Everybody get on the ERS users group and grab your link.
At least I think I can. The only problem is screen sharing.
Unscreen share and
Yeah.
post in the. Give us just a sec, guys. Sorry for the dead air. We're trying to figure out how to logistically move everybody over to the Zoom meeting rather than the webinar. We're going to be posting those links. I believe that we've already done that in the Q&A. So look under Answered, and you should be able to switch over there, use that link that Noah has been posting, and log into the meeting over there. I'm going to go ahead and switch over there now. Does that make sense? And then if you could just keep getting out the information for this. Okay?
The only thing is that other meeting hasn't actually started yet.
That's why I'm going to go over there.
Okay, cool.
With the hope that it'll let me.
Oh, dang it. I put that message out to the panelists.
Did I just disconnect everybody on Zoom
I hope
webinar?
Maybe? Yep, you did.
Awesome. Hi, guys. All right. Can you go back in and start that one and just stay in that meeting and shuffle people over here?
You have a meeting that is currently in progress. Please end it to start a new meeting.
That's the one that you... Oh, because you're on this one? Are you in this one?
I got booted.
You go to the panel. Yeah, everybody did. Can you go in as a panelist and start the webinar again? Ricky, good morning.
Yeah, so
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
I restarted the webinar, but now everybody is kicked out. Apparently it doesn't want us.
No, I
don't
think
want any webinars.
so.
Right, people are still working on that link.
Hang on, guys. Sorry, internal discussions to try to get all this straightened out. I'm in this meeting. As long as I stay in here, this one will keep going. I think you guys should be able to get into the webinar now.
Yeah. Yep.
So go into the webinar.
I'm in something, but I'm in here alone from Pamela to off panel. I can see the chat.
Right. So you're in the webinar. So just tell everybody
To go to the Facebook group and
to grab the link that's in the Q&A in that webinar. Yep.
There's no link in a Q&A in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, because that. I think that.
I need to put it in the chat, not the Q&A.
Yeah.
Mr. Dustin, good morning, sir.
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
And Al. And we got everybody in here. Hi, guys.
Morning.
Huh?
How are those people with you and these ones are stuck with me?
Because they all logged in using the new links, and everybody else is still on the
And the
webinar.
link is
So
on
we
the ERS group, right? So all I gotta do is tell them.
tell them,
Okay.
go to the link. Yep.
Yeah.
So we have
doing it.
we still have 40-something people over on the webinar that we're trying to tell them to log in over here now. Sorry. This is, we didn't think through the logistics of this one real well. Good morning, Mr. Walser. You know, when we first met, neither of us were wearing glasses.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
It happens. I was gonna do a post with me when I used to be rolling jumps and had hair and everything was dark, and then put it side by side and go, look what this industry does to you, you know. Ashley, how are ya? Haven't seen your bright smiley face since Vegas.
Been a while. Miss you guys, all you guys. The round tables, I think, is the most exciting thing.
Yeah? Cool. All right. So our team is furiously typing everybody and saying, come into this meeting. What we're going to do from here is use the breakout rooms. So hopefully everybody sees the breakout rooms tab at the bottom of the screen. Can you have Noah send me a link for today? I'm not sure if he sent one to Sal.
Was that Sal?
That's Jim.
Jim Coffee and Sal.
Coffee.
Get him. Do you see Yaz and Tiffany?
It's not active. The breakout room is not active, Rob.
Well, that's probably us not starting one yet.
So
Can you?
I can't get into that meeting. So, but I can-
She's in the webinar too, though, right?
Yeah.
So get out.
Okay.
Billy. So you guys are the select few that actually got up this morning. How many of you are East Coast? Raise your hand. Yeah. How many of you
Canada.
actually had to get up this morning? West Coasters? Uh-huh. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Nate. All right.
To the same.
Yeah. I know this group. If this was in Vegas and we started at this hour, nobody would be at the event yet.
Arizona, so we're the same time as y'all.
There you go. For at least half the year, right?
Yep.
I love Arizona. I was looking at houses out there at one point. The housing has gone through the roof out there.
It absolutely has.
Yeah. It's all the Californians kind of sweeping into our neck of the woods. Is that you, Noah?
No.
Oh, that is me. Sorry about that.
Sorry, guys.
Doing it to ourselves. Pat, you are totally silhouetted. We're not gonna.
I know.
You're gonna have to turn up the brightness on your screen so it illuminates your face.
I'll try.
I'm just messing. All right. So this morning we're gonna have Dustin and Michael in one of the breakout rooms, and we're gonna have Sal and Jim in another. Michael, did I even bother to tell you this before today? I don't know. Okay, good. No, good. Well, it was mentioned, just not to you. You know, we like communicating like this. So, so I'll give you a little backstory. I don't know who's been following along and who hasn't. So, Michael and Dustin run Jumptastic in the Atlanta area, and I don't know, 15 other companies, and how many other bounce house companies? 4? 3. 3 others. And they are now starting the Best Life group, which is going to be some marketing and business consulting specifically for our industry. So you guys can reach out to them directly if you're interested in some of that. They are also, their bronze level package is included with our Jumpstart program. So we've been getting some people signing up for that. What are you smiling at?
If I smile, it's noticeable. That's just that.
maybe true, but sad. I'm just saying.
And then Sal and Jim were the guys that spoke yesterday. They own Busy Bee out in Boston. Yeah, a lot of people were talking about culture and whatnot yesterday because of their talk. It's good talk. So, everybody learning something so far? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Just like to know that people are getting value out of these things. It takes a fair amount of effort on our part. And if you're not getting anything, then why am I doing it? So, Pam. Good morning. Oh, it's noon for you. What am I saying? You're late.
Good afternoon.
You're late by 13 minutes. You have no excuse. That's all
I
right.
couldn't find it.
All right, I know. We're moving people around. And I'll see you next week in Florida.
Yes, that will be good.
So, all right. Are we?
I've
Up
still got
and-
18 attendees in the wrong room.
I'm
Okay.
posting
Can
it in this thing that I just
Thank
Okay.
was
you.
talking
Can
on.
you unmute in there and just say
I will
move?
back up with you.
No, you won't,
Okay.
because we're on different meetings.
Hey everybody, I show I still have 16 attendees. So if you're not seeing the chat, please roll down to the bottom of your screen and look at the chat. Copy paste the link, the member ID, and the passcode so that you can close this webinar and then use that link, meeting ID, and passcode to get into the interactive room for final day of ERSCon 2021.
Yay! All right, cool. Now, breakout room. How do we do that, Mr. Noah?
So we've got 2 breakout rooms set up.
We have 2
So-
breakout
Give those
rooms.
to Jim and Mike.
Yep, I will go ahead and assign Jim and Sal and Mike to their rooms. The
Yep.
thing is, I believe once I do that, they're going to be in their rooms and they
Yeah.
will no longer be in here. So,
That's fine. All right, so Dustin and Mr. Michael, if you guys could follow the links in the breakout rooms, that will take you out of here into your own room, and then you guys who are participating, hey, now we got a bunch of people signing in. So you guys can. Oh.
Uncle G, Mike, mute your crap.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
You can hit me both, can't you?
I don't know where, but yeah.
Where did you just do that?
Yeah.
Did that.
Okay. So at this point,
Rob!
good morning.
Rob! What's your cell number? I signed up, baby!
Yeah.
Oh God.
Where's
Lorant.
the mute button?
Oh.
Rob,
Everybody mute Gary.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm getting ready. Do you see?
I read the
Every
most.
time Rob says a word, we do a shot. Is that how this works?
You're at the wrong group meeting.
Is this the second meeting that I got kicked out of, like the woman's only?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we babes against bullshit. That's hilarious.
I love the shirt. Love the shirt.
We
Do we have to wear clothing in this video?
No.
as long as you're in
Camera's off.
Dustin's breakout room, you can go without clothes. Yeah. Okay. So from here, we are not actually doing anything in this room. So at this point, go down to the breakout rooms
You know what else she does?
and
Where's that?
pick a room. It's on the bottom of your screen. What?
All right, then. Gyre?
No,
I don't know if that works or not.
Huh?
she can only work part-time,
Okay.
so she just pretty much can't work Wednesdays.
If you are not muted, Please mute yourself.
You know what? Yeah, we came in pre-outbreak. No, I think we can live with Wednesdays.
I got it.
Mr. Chris Kincaid, mute
Hey,
yourself.
bud.
Up, there we go. Okay. All right. Everybody pick a room. We've got one for Dustin and Michael, another one for Jim and Sal. Go forth. There should be nobody in here, and I will be popping in when we need to change things up. There isn't one now.
Where do I find the rooms?
It's not filled.
They're in the bottom under breakout rooms.
Nope, don't have that.
I had the worst
There's nothing there.
text
At the
message.
top, Rob.
What was that?
Top left corner. It looks like a square.
Yeah, it's 4 little squares, I think, is the icon if you're on a different device.
Can we switch back and forth between groups?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Fuck. Rob, are you hosting a roundtable today?
I'm going to be doing a little bit of a roundtable later after this roundtable section is done. So we're doing this for a couple hours. You guys can switch back and forth between the 2 tables that we've got. And then I'll be doing some, and for those who just want to chat business. And then we're also going to have tech support, our team, in a couple rooms answering questions and helping implement live. Okay.
So, hey, Rob, couple questions. How do we get in once I see all the breakout rooms, but how do I get into them?
Oh, shit.
There should only be 2. Jumptastic.
Yes.
And
See them, but I click on them and nothing happens.
If you hover over the number like 12 and 29, it should give you the join on.
yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, cool. Thanks. Got it.
I cannot hear you, but I can see the chat down below. If you roll your mouse down below, there should be a Q&A and a chat. I have got the link with meeting ID and passcode that you need to use to get to the interactive room for final day of ERSCon. This is not the room for ERSCon today. You need to copy the link, the meeting ID and passcode from the chat, please, and close this out completely before going into the interactive room. Otherwise, clicking the link in here will keep you in here.
Leslie?
So, and then use that link.
I have no idea. Anyway, nobody should be in this room at this point. Everybody pick a room. Go.
Just posted it. It should say something.
Where? Oh, we don't have Jim and Sal in yet? Okay. Everybody can go into Jumptastic. I don't know. Let me see if I can go into BZB and then come back. One sec.
Whenever I click on the breakout rooms, it just has a white screen. There's nothing listed under it.
Let me look.
Not us here, but they've gone so big into shutdowns that it's really killed a lot of our clientele. I mean, there's just a lot of people that are scared to death to have parties and don't want to have parties, and we don't really see things coming back probably until late summer. So it's a little bit of a ugly situation still.
Hi. Okay. So I don't see the white screen problem that people are reporting. I just went back and forth between both of them. But what we don't have is the host. So I'll tell you what, I'll hang out in here with you guys while we figure out how to get Sal and Jim in here. I think Sal had an emergency that he had to run out to. But Jim should be joining us shortly here. So.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Hey, Rob, I'm in Canada, James.
How's it going, eh?
Not too bad, man. I've been on the ERS system for about 1 year, and it's really been amazing, and
cool.
Kind of feel like it's given me a leg up on the competition. and I really like your product. And honestly, I have to say, I've been very impressed with you guys, the whole sort of kind of really family community approach to it. It's unlike anything else I have experienced around me.
Yep.
So I'm very excited about seeing the growth potential of that for my business and absorbing all of that, taking it in. And I see there's a lot of fruit coming from it. So I just wanted to introduce myself and just say that keep it up. And you guys are, doing a really phenomenal job.
Susie, how can I help you?
Thanks. Susie?
I'm doing just fine, Crystal. How are you doing?
Where?
Oh, awesome.
Let me see if I can find her in here. I don't even see her in here.
Hey, Rob.
How is that even possible?
yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Rob.
How's it going?
It's going good. Hey, since we're kind of just on downtime.
Yeah, it's what the annual hosting fee is. Wherever you would host your domain name, to get your website live, you would always pay some type of hosting fee. Lots of people pay it to GoDaddy, but you don't have to pay GoDaddy with us because we're hosting your website. We're keeping all your information secured on the servers that we have. We have multiple servers so that your system is never down. So
I guess we're going to listen to a sales pitch now.
Of $99.
Good that she does that. All right.
We're learning right now.
Let me see if I can.
The only thing you really need to be paying GoDaddy
there we go. Phew. Ay. This is why we went with a webinar for the first 2 days, because this kind of stuff happens every time. All right.
Well, can I make a suggestion? Can we all go around and introduce ourselves, say where we're from, because I've never met James before. Hi.
Yes.
Hey, nice to meet you.
I don't know a lot of these people, and it's nice to put a face to some of the names on the ERS group.
Absolutely. Everybody pick well, Ashley, start.
Okay, I'm Ashley. I am in Northwest Indiana, just about 30 minutes south of Chicago. I've been in the business for about 8 years, or approaching our eighth season, and I've been with ERS for I think 5 of that. And I love ERS. Overnight, it changed my business, and I've been pro ERS ever since. The family, I agree, is awesome here, and everybody's just so welcoming and friendly, and it's a big team, so it's really, really awesome. So I really thank Rob and all the work that he does to do this, because this is really important for me, and it's been very serious 3 days for me that no one could bother me, talk to me, call me, or anything, because I'm with it. So appreciate it.
Awesome.
I couldn't agree more.
Cool.
Al, your turn.
Yeah, I think we're starting at the top. Mr. Al, introduce yourself. Al, by the way, is the guy that all our tech support get, all the ladies at least get really happy when he calls, because they love his voice.
Don't say that because you maybe turn
high expectations.
Al Sanchez from Miami. My company is We Rent Fund. We are starting our third full season, right? But this is going to be our fourth full season. Yes, we're going to start that in our fourth full season. Super happy to be here, learning from everybody. So super excited to learn from Dean and Sal and you guys as well.
Uh-oh. I think I just did. Sorry, I think I just muted you. 1 second. Oh?
No, I mute myself.
Oh, you did it. Okay. All right.
8.
Oh, are we moving on? That was fast. Okay, I was expecting a longer sexy voice thing. All right, Mr. Nate.
Hi, I'm from Mesa, Arizona. Our company's Rat Bounce. We are starting our 5th season this year.
Awesome. Uh-oh, screen's jumping around. Mr. Bill.
I'm Bill with, I'm the owner of Bounce Orlando. I've been in business since about 2008, beginning of 2008 we started. I've been with ERS since 2014.
Yep.
That's about it.
All right, cool. Pat, you've been a long time ERS Con attendee.
Hi, I'm Pat, and I'm sorry I can't get the back screen to
No, you're fine.
do the thing. So, I'm with Inflatable Event Professionals in Washington State. David's owned the business, I believe, since 2014, and he got ERS before I came on board to help him. So, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time, and I love you guys.
Oh, thank you.
I love you guys. You're special.
We are special.
You're all special, very special.
I've been called special before.
Yeah. In a short bus kind of way, or never mind.
I wear a helmet to work, Rob.
Right. So, you know, it's funny that, and I talked to Michael Walser about this just last week. The family kind of vibe and whatnot that we tried to build. It's exactly what we intended to do, but sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for, because then all your crazy relatives are like always in your house, right? So,
Right.
so,
Right.
So yeah, we've certainly got family dynamics and whatnot that go on in our group, but I
think
still,
it's a common theme to success, right?
yeah, I don't see it any other way. I mean, it does. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword, you know, for us as a company, because there's so many people in these groups with different dynamics. But I don't know. I just think it's the way things should be done. I like working with people that I like, right? So there you go. And this is.
I agree. I agree.
Pretty.
Once you find them, then you stay with them if you like them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move out of my eyes are in the sun.
Yep. So Jim, I'm gonna let you take over, but first let's quickly get through some other introductions, because some of these people have never met before. So next up is Jeff Kelly, our very first IAAPA sign up, back in the day when Corey could sit down and make your entire website.
That's right.
While
What
you
year
sit
was that?
there.
What year was that, Ron? 72, 07,
Oh,
08?
geez, I don't know. It was when Vegas was, right? It was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Back when IAAPA was in
I
Vegas.
brought my seventh grade son out to Vegas for the first time. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been in business about 20 years. Got serious about it about the time when I signed up for ERS, and it's been great. I'm not a power user by any means, but my son's came on. He's helped me quite a bit. He's probably taken over most of it. I know how to book an order, and that's about all. So, Rob and Leslie and Susie, the whole group is great. It's a fantastic environment, you guys bend over backwards, especially what's happened during the pandemic. What you were trying to do to help everybody in different avenues. It's been great. I mean, I've learned so many things through the groups, and and even the power users in here, and Ishmael, and everybody just wants to help everybody out. So it's been great. And I've had a couple of instances this week on hold with AT&T and the state of North Carolina. And by the way, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't know if I said that, but customer service sucks with both of those people. So, so with ERS and everything we do in here, it's great. You guys are great, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Well, thank you. Mr. Corny Carney, how are you, sir?
Hey,
that's how I'm doing. How are you?
I'm great. I was having a long talk with Onan, who's also an animal hoarder, last night, and he was showing me all the pictures of his animals. And if you guys don't know, Corny's got quite the collection and has quite the history. Anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let me tell you what I got going on right now. We had a freak ice storm here in October, and I lost power for 21 days. And on Saturday, we're going to have the worst storm ever in Oklahoma, and I'm planning on losing power for who knows how long, and it's going to be 35 degrees below zero wind chill, so I'm excited. I have lots of animals to take care of. Whew, sucks. I have been in this business. This will be my second year, and I am one of the loudest mess ups in this group, and I'm a lot of fun, but I don't know what I'm doing, so there you go.
I love the fact that you're learning in front of everybody and sharing it. I think it's great. So thank you.
I have no problem making a fool of myself every single step of the way. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here for comic relief.
There you go. Well, I've done my share of that, so all good. All right, Miss Amy, how goes it?
Good. I am in Northern California, Brentwood. And we just started. I have yet to rent a bounce house, so I'm just here to learn and absorb as much as I can.
Awesome.
And I'm enjoying all the information.
Great. Were you able to see the previous 2 days?
Yes, I really enjoyed Jim and Sal's talk yesterday.
Yeah.
Just great people to listen to. They have a lot of information to offer. It was invaluable. I loved it. I just loved every second of it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep, we got a lot of positive feedback.
My wife liked it.
Yeah?
She watched.
Good. All right.
Yep.
South Carolina Party Rentals. Who are you? Spacebar unmutes, by the way. There you go.
There we go. Sorry, we've got booking going on right now. So Daniel, in Greenville, South Carolina, been in business. This is going on 2.5 years now.
Cool.
And so we went from working construction to trying to buy a company. That didn't work out, and just said, hey, we're going to jump straight in, and we did. Found ERS last year around probably 2019, around December. Just figuring out like this is horrible to do it by myself. I need something that works, and this is it. So yeah.
And then you got rolling just in time for COVID to hit. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we actually ended up buying 5 companies up.
Did you? Good for
during
you.
this time, and we actually, I guess we're up like 400%, but we're just starting. That's why. So
right. No,
it's
that's
not really
great.
good for us. We ended up having to hire 13 employees this year or in 2020. So that was good.
That's excellent. Somebody got really offended when I said this, but they were talking about how COVID was killing them and stuff, and I said it's actually going to be a great opportunity for some people that are in the right position and think creatively. Holy cow, Corny. Yeah, it's I don't know if you guys know this, but there were more massive fortunes built during the Great Depression than any other time in our history. It's when the Rockefellers came around. It's when what was it? The New York Times started. There was a lot of big things that came out of the Great Depression, and I just look at times like this and I go, the money is not vanishing. It doesn't evaporate. It just moves, right? So you just have to figure out where the money is moving and go there. So that's why I, keep an open mind and stay flexible is my personal advice. But I don't want to steal Jim's time. So Ryan, Spacebar Ryan. There we go. We got you.
Yep. So I'm Ryan Peterson. I'm from Minnesota, and we own Froggy Hops. We've been with ERS, I don't know, 5-6 years now. and it's been amazing. And thank you very much for putting this on. We really appreciate it. It's been great every year we've gone down.
Awesome.
Oh, I've been corrected. My wife said 10 years. My fault.
Woo! Where is she? She's hiding?
She's hiding.
Okay. All right, Elena, you're going to have to get on there at some point. All right. Aldo, I'm skipping Jim because he's the guy that's supposed to be, like, running this thing. Aldo, tell us who you are and what you're up to.
Hi, my name is Aldo. I'm from Northern California as well. I own Angels Party Jumpers. We've been with ERS for 3 years and just looking to grow and expand. We had our best year ever this previous year. We finally hit over 6 figures.
Good.
And looking to grow.
Awesome. Awesome. You're in the right spot. Jose. There you
Hey
are.
guys, Jose. I'm in Dallas. We've been with ERS for 2 years. We have about 30 units.
Great.
And last year was our best year as well. So we're hoping that continues on to this year. So far, it's going well.
Yep.
But yeah, we're excited.
Texas is one of the few markets that saw growth over 2019, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happened. So you're in a good market, and 30 units second year is great. Good growth.
Yep.
Ismail, he's the troublemaker in our group.
My name's Ismail. Sorry.
Yeah.
My name's Ismail. I'm in San Francisco Bay Area. I've been using it for 11 years. I signed up as a 50th customer right after Jim Edmonds, also in the Bay Area.
Yep.
That's about it.
And
I like country music. I like wearing beanies. Makes me look like a bad guy.
That's right. And Ismail is the guy that you'll see in our user group helping people at 2 in the morning because he can't help himself. Mr. James.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I know you're talking. Another James in the building.
No, there is another James. I'm sorry. James Schrock. Spacebar to unmute. There we go.
There we go. I got it. I've been in the business for 10 years. I had 2 indoor centers actually, and that's how I got started in the outdoor business here in the Indianapolis market. I kind of had a captive audience. People were calling and asking if I rented bounce house. So I thought, sure, what the hell? So I got 1, then I got 2, then I ended up with about 20 some, and then finally I'm like, wow, there's good money in this. So I bought out a competitor March 1st, which was very fortunate. I have up to about 100 units now. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. But it worked out very well because I had to close my indoor centers. So I kept a roof over my head and food on the table for the kids, thankfully. So I kind of doubled down and was very fortunate, honestly. I lost my ass this year, but it's the rental side has really done well for me. And like I said, I never really cared about the rental side up until this year. And I've tripled my business, actually. I still got a long way to go, but it was, I'm very fortunate, honestly. So that's my story.
That was amazing timing. Good for you.
Yes. Yes. I got very lucky, thankfully.
Yeah. All right, Jesse.
Hi guys, I'm Jesse with Max and Ollie's Party Rentals. We are right outside of Philadelphia. We have been using ERS for a little under a year and still learning and figuring it out. Not very techy, so, but we are really enjoying all of the info that we're learning the last couple days.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Anthony.
Hey, my name's Anthony. I'm out on Long Island, New York. I've been in this industry for about 16 years. I've been using ERS for a couple of years, and it's just a never-ending learning adventure.
And assuming that the thing on your wall is about you, thanks for your service.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Ian. It says MacBook.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm Ian Matthew from Cincinnati, Ohio. This will be my 5th year with ERS. Started with ERS in the beginning, thanks to Mr. Dave Barnes' recommendation. And yeah, we've got about 40 units now. We were down about 40% this year, but just like Jim said yesterday, we were quality of life was way better. I think we were way more profitable this year. Yeah, so we learned a lot, and I don't think we're going to go back to some of the dumb stuff we used to do.
That's interesting. Yeah, these we learn things in weird times, huh?
Yes,
Mr. Dan, tell us about indoor and outdoor stuff and crating or whatever you're doing nowadays. Dan's into everything.
Yeah, well, not everything, but well, no, my first company was export crating and packaging, and I started about 15 years ago. But that had done really well for years, and that's how I came about starting Crazy Monkey, because I knew heavy industry in our area was going to go downhill eventually. So I started Crazy Monkey as a second income, and or eventually probably be the income. So I dumped a lot of money into it in the first. This is our 5th season. And I've dumped a lot of money in. I talked to Ian quite a bit, so he knows me, and over the years, and got it grown up to be pretty big. And this 2020 year was the year that I was going to start taking a paycheck, because I had at that time put all the money back into it to grow it big, get more equipment, brand, do all those things, because my other company paid my bills. So I was just, using it to regenerate itself bigger, and then COVID kind of took away my year to get paid. So life goes on. We're up to probably 80 units now, and or actually a few more than that, quite a few big rides. And last year, though, we did about 30% of what we would normally do. So it was a tough year. We all went to mostly backyard stuff, as most people did, but in Pennsylvania, it's a whole different ball game. We were shut down for quite some time, and but I have a pretty good plan for this year, and hopefully it we start to get things opened up a little bit.
Awesome. All right, where did Jim go? Jim Coffee? Oh, there you are.
See you, Rob.
Sorry. Now I can.
Am I in the right spot?
Yeah, you were right in the middle of the screen. That's why I didn't see you.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, so you can ask leading questions, or the participants can ask you questions. The idea is just talk about biz and try to share some information between all of y'all, because everybody's got their own experiences, and some things that work well in certain markets, other things that don't, and so the idea is to share some information.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Thank you very much. Let me just first start by saying, I think Sal announced yesterday he was expecting a baby. Brand new news. So this morning, one of the girls in our office came down with COVID. So Sal and his wife are getting tested. A little bit nervous. He had to run out for a little bit. So he won't be joining us today. I'm sorry.
Got it.
That being said, this is my first time ever doing this kind of a forum, so we can do it in a couple different ways, but if everyone kind of knows who I am, I believe, if you have questions for me, or we want to throw out some topics out to get the process started, we could talk about anything you'd like and let the group lead the discussion. I would think it's not about my topics. I would hope to hear topics from people, and then everyone have some input, not just me, I would hope. Does anybody have a topic they'd like to start with, or a question for me?
I got a question.
Morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, sorry, I thought it was my talk. I wanted to ask you, well, first off, I remember seeing that picture of all the trucks on ERS, I think it was, and I was like, wow, that is so cool. And I just remember looking at your website, you guys are awesome, and it's really cool to get to talk to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, but so I'm a numbers guy, and you don't have to tell me numbers, but when I think right now, I'm really growing my business, and I'm getting more employees, and I'm thinking about labor costs, and also vehicle costs too, because I have 5 trucks, and just like I said, I don't want to be nosy, but what's labor cost percentages you like to stay around, and what's gas or mechanic work you guys what's like, oh my gosh, we're way over. Like, okay, that's good, or
That's a good question.
Yeah,
So for labor, our benchmark here is between 30 and 31 and a half is where I want to keep labor at all times.
Yeah, it's cool.
Does that include yours or just the?
No, that does not include mine. No. So we have a different category for me and Sal, but everybody else, we have two different categories in the building. We have warehouse and delivery staff, and then we have administration, meaning people who take phone calls, make reservations, do contracts, answer question phone calls. So we break it down. We usually at about 28 to 29 in the warehouse, and between 1 and 2 on administration, people in the office answering questions and making reservations. Because surprisingly, we still get a lot of reservations by telephone. So I know, sorry about that. I know a lot of my friends around the country do more by internet than I do. I'm not sure why that is, but a lot of my customers still call and talk to us.
Yeah,
it has a cost associated with it.
Yeah, I do too. Cause like I actually hired 2 girls to answer the phone for me, and I hear a lot of people like I can make the sale if I want to, but I'd rather them do it. And if there's an issue, that issue comes to me. I'd rather solve problems rather than deal with regular bookings. So yeah, that's interesting.
I agree. I think it's also nice. I try to take some phone calls every week because I like to be close to the end user, right? What their questions are, what their concerns are, how they react to a price, how they react to our policies. It's nice to have those phone calls. So I take 2 or 3 calls a week. I've been on the phone all day if I could. That's where I love to live, on the phone, talking to people. That's how I started with the Yellow Pages ad and the phone. That's all I had. So if I could spend my whole day on the phone talking to people, I would, but that's a luxury I don't have anymore. But I guess it depends on what business you're into. My wife has a daycare center about 2 miles from here, and she operates at between 53 and 55% for her payroll. She's all staff. So I'm at 32, and I'm comfortable with no more than 32 is where our margin works best for us.
Cool. That's where I was kind of shooting. Thank you. Cool.
Yeah, no problem. And then we do 10% advertising as well, a couple other benchmarks. We go between 8 and 10 in advertising, which some people think is aggressive, but we consider reinvesting back in our business. So between 8 and 10 goes back to advertising a year.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's
right. That's the question I always have when I was starting. I would ask somebody, what should I spend on advertising? And I'll say, well, every business is different. So I just think that's an important number. You know, that could be too high for you. It could be too low. But for us, it's between 8 and 10 works comfortably.
That's actually where I was factoring it in. That's kind of cool you said that.
Right, yeah. And then we rent trucks and we buy them. So depending on the time of season, we'll rent 6 or 8, 10 trucks in June and July here, and then everything else we try to buy them, because to do a long-term lease with Ryder for us, it didn't make sense. We put so little miles on them and it's such a short season. I can have a truck for 10 years, so I'd only use it for 6 months a year. It's really only a 5-year-old truck.
Mm-hmm.
We purchase everything brand new.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep. So those are our numbers, kind of. I think we're about 2% on fuel. I think that's a pretty common number, right?
I would
3% on fuel.
Yeah. Well, you guys have enough trucks that you're, there's what is it, efficiency and scale, right? So
some synergy.
So when you have tighter routes, everything gets less expensive per route.
Mr. Fixer for the past 2 days, huh?
Yeah, I
All
had
of this leadership.
who's not muted.
That's Ismail.
Ismail.
That is not me. My voice is not. I get deeper. That's Olga. How do you do this, Olga and me?
He's having a side.
I think it's because you didn't get the introduction.
That's right.
Do you have a particular truck you like to use? Like I've had the idea of like basically buying all, like, for example, GMC trucks.
Yeah.
That way the parts are all like if I get all the same year, I can buy the same shocks, I can buy the same whatever parts.
Yeah. So I think it's like vanilla and chocolate, right? You're either a Ford man or a Chevy man. I'm a Ford man. We buy all Ford E350s because that's what I had. My first pickup truck was a Ford F-150. So I'm a Ford man, but you could do, I think either one is great. Just recently we bought 2 new pickup trucks, and Mickey, one of the fleet managers, actually decided he liked that best, the 2500 Chevy 2500. So we just added 2 Chevys to our fleet as well.
Cool.
But I like the idea of consistency, right? We have spare tires, we have mirrors, we have things in the warehouse that we can do ourselves. All Ford parts.
Yeah, I've noticed like you guys keep it really simple. I like that. It's like you don't have like 50,000 different things. You just have like, hey, this is what makes money. This is what works. And you stack it high, and get them out. Like keep it simple. Like I really, because I've been thinking about that too. So it's like get like a moonwalk, maybe like a 5-in-1 combo, a water slide, obstacle, and just roll with it. Just 4 or 5 different styles, and that's it. That way, when the guys doing deliveries, they know how to do it. They can get in and out quick. I can teach this quick, and their lives are simple, and they like doing it because they're not confused. Because you might go from like a moonwalk to I know there's the event side of it, like I guess I call it the carny side of it, like like the meltdown or the mechanical bulls. Like you got to babysit that thing, and I'd love to get to that, but I know right now I'm not there. Right. And that's just kind of my thing. I think you guys kind of you've grown. You're huge now, but you started
I started with 2 pieces. I bought a dragon and a castle moonwalk from Jolly Jumps in Amarillo, California. Camarillo, California. So I only had 2 pieces. And one was a castle, one was a dragon. So that was for the first 2 years. And I had them in a little school bus, my wife's school bus. She had a daycare center. So on the weekends, the school bus seats would come out, and I would drive the moonwalk van around. And on Mondays, I put the seats back in, and she took it back as a school bus for the kids.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
that's the thing. It's smart using the.
Yeah. Right. I had no truck cost the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so
those big pieces, they do come in handy because sometimes you lose jobs if you don't have one-offs of some things. So I'd be lying if I said we didn't have some of those things. I have a Toxic Meltdown. I have some different Wipeout games, some different carnival games in the barn that I have to have for big schools sometimes. But I'm just happy doing 20 mods in a truck if I could.
Oh, I agree. I just think they're 2 separate industries. And I think a lot of people mix them too much. And I think 2020 kind of showed those companies that were just, it's focus on learn it first, know what you know, and then build something else and keep them separate, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to use 2020 though for a learning experience. Kind of a one thing. Probably never happen again, I hope. So if someone got caught with their pants down last year, it wasn't really their fault, I think, because who expected that, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
There was no way to predict. Yeah, there was no way to predict this past year. With that said, for those of you that do the corporate stuff, I have always said, don't ever let go of the backyard stuff because here's what you can count on. You can count on occasional economic downturns, right? 2008 wiped out a lot of big event companies because all the corporate gigs dried up. But I actually doubled my sales in 2008 because I was still focused on the backyard party. So the glory of the big events, there's a lot of good money in there. It's a great place for profit centers. But if there's one thing that I have really cemented in my mind from this year is don't give up on the backyard stuff.
Yeah. From my portfolio, I have daycare centers and I do backyard party rentals. So I'm convinced in my heart of hearts that children are recession proof. People are always going to have children, and there's always going to be a birthday party for them.
Yep.
So some people say alcohol. There's all different things that are recession proof. When I go to sleep at night, I think people having children and doing those things is recession proof no matter what happens.
Yep, that and the funeral business.
Right. And sometimes that mingles with the moonwalk business. Same feeling some days.
All right.
Anybody else?
Who's got something?
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi, Jim. I want to say thank you for the talk yesterday. It was the most value we've gotten, in my opinion, for the whole 3 days, and it was amazing. Thank you very much.
I enjoyed it too. I don't get to talk about myself very much. I enjoyed it. Pretty strange experience to talk like that.
Yeah, you guys just seem like a power couple, man. He says something, you finish it off. You say something, he finishes it off.
Yeah, we get along pretty well. He's easy to work with. He's a good guy.
Awesome. So yeah, my question is, I'm starting out. I have 18 units, and I have, most people starting out start with jumpers, just regular basketball hoop or just standard size. Then they jump into slides. They have, a front slide or side slide, but it's still within another category on your website. My next step is to go the obstacle course way. How did you guys do that? Did you guys go one obstacle course when customers started asking for it? Did you guys buy it and then offer it? did you guys buy like 3 so that your customers have like a way of choosing one? How do you go about going with different or bigger inflatables?
Yeah, so that was a long time ago. But when I did buy my first obstacle course, it was called a Swamper Stomper. That's how old I am. And I just bought one of those to see how it was going to go. I think back at the time it was a $5,000 investment, $5,500. So I bought one to test it to see how it went. A, because I didn't have any money, and B, I didn't have many customers anyway. So I bought one to try it. But nowadays you can see from the internet that what people say works for them and what doesn't work for them. There's some better price points, and there's some more feedback on. I had no data sharing. I didn't know what anybody was doing around the country, so I didn't know if people around here would pay $400 for a obstacle course or $300 for an obstacle course. But with the data available, whereabouts are you calling from? Where are you from? I mean,
Bay Area. I'm
Bay
by
Area.
where Ismail is.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see from other people's websites, that your competitors and probably friends of yours, what they're getting for those pieces, right? So you must know what the price schedule is going to be based on your competition and based on other people in that area.
They're well over $50 in that area.
Yeah, they're pretty good money.
Yeah, so I also think it's kind of a big picture question, right? It's just hard to say how many should I buy and should I add obstacle courses. It's part of a big plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to do your trucks and how you're going to do your employees and how you're going to market yourself. And so it's kind of a big question, not just a question about a single product, right? What is your goals?
Correct, yes.
Are you going to add 5 of those someday? Do you want to just do a one-off? Do you have the staff to do it? Do you have enough guys to move those big pieces? You know, it's kind of a big plan, right, on what you're going to do and how you're going to build your inventory slowly and steadily with a big plan. And I'm not saying don't buy obstacle courses. If that's part of your plan, then that would be a great plan as long as you follow that plan and move forward with that plan, right? Know your price point, know your margin on that product, know your customers. And the question is, why are you doing obstacle courses? Is it research that tells you you're getting a lot of calls for those you can't help? Or just because you like them personally, which is still a good answer. You know, I'm just not sure what brought you to that decision about obstacle courses.
Okay, no, yeah, it's just, it's part of the plan for next year for me, but I'm asking it just simply because I like to prepare. And like you said, it's all about a plan.
It's all about a plan, yeah.
It's all about a plan. This year, I'm mainly focusing on being a numbers guy. You know, for a long time, I wasn't being, the leader of the company. I was just making money, doing this and that, and it wasn't really organized. So this year, I'm kind of like putting my feet on the ground, running all the numbers, making sure my marketing's working, making sure my jumpers are going out. And then next year, obstacle courses, I would have to go in with a plan. And I appreciate it.
Do you use that utilization chart do you use your utilization? Are you using your products fully? Are you under inventoried or over inventoried?
40-50% go out every weekend. So that's
so
not
you don't need more products. It sounds like you need more customers at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say more marketing, and you probably put your money into marketing maybe as opposed to more pieces this year. But again, I don't know anything else about your business. I don't want to give dime store advice based on a 2-minute phone call. But if you're not using all your products at a quick glance, right? If you're not using all your products, then you probably put a little more money into marketing and grow your customer base first.
Definitely. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Can I actually, since we're talking about utilization, Jim, can I ask? I can tell you what I've been telling people, but I would love to hear your take on it. My general advice has always been, if on a busy weekend about 80% of your inventory is going out, it's time to get more inventory, because you're never going to have a perfect product mix for the people. Whoever is not muted, please mute yourself. Uh-oh. All right. Let me look through. Okay. I think we got it. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Rob. I would say between even 70 maybe, because like you said, cancellations, different things come and go, seasonal. So I think it's about 70%. But you can even hone it down to products, right? We do it by product.
Sure.
We do it by weekend by combo, weekend by water slide, weekend by big kahuna, weekend by little kahuna. So we even break it down by the weekends. Sometimes the weekends are hard to the weekdays are hard to categorize, right?
Right.
And then we'll also do a weather category saying, yeah, we didn't sell it this weekend, but let's look back and have a weather category, and then we mark that as a rain anomaly.
Yeah. So I agree. I think 70% is probably a great thing, and to look at it by category is something that honestly I had not done. So I think that conversely, and in Emmanuel's position, if you aren't at 70 to 80% of your inventory going out on a busy weekend, then the money should be going into marketing. And it's always kind of a give and take between those two. Needing more inventory so that you can maximize profits, or marketing more so you can utilize what you have. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. Yeah. So I said to him, yeah, you have to use that. That money should go to marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is actually good news. So you don't need more products. You're already having a good year, and you still have products on the shelf, which means you have money to be made without spending any more money on products.
Yeah.
It could be, considered a positive, right? Yeah. I totally agree. It all, even when you're at 70%, do you have the trucks? Do you have the warehouse space? There's a lot of other variables, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't buy 10 more units without be sold out and have no trucks to deliver them, or get them delivered and no space to put them, or no staff to work with. So there's a big circle of all those things that have to take place. But the first decision is, am I using the products I have now, and do I need more? And it sounds like I agree with Rob. You don't need more at this point. Maybe you need more marketing. Or maybe you'll get some natural growth just by length of in business. You'll use your customer base from last year and add new ones to that. So grow your base by natural marketing with them as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna focus on that this year.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. It's tough to go to IAPA and not buy all the sexy stuff that comes out every year. It's tough to see stuff and not buy it sometimes, right? It's easy to buy it. It's tough to say no and just say I'm not buying anything new. That's tough for me and Sal. We come back from IAPA, we bought nothing. We don't buy anything new. All these laser tags and these things come out, and we come back and we buy some mods. I was telling Rob, we go to dinner at night. What'd you buy today? Man, we bought 12 mods and we bought 6 combos, and we're heading home tomorrow. So we never win. We never win IAPA day. We hope to win the season day when the things go off the shelf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been to IAPA, but I will definitely do that.
You have to go to IAPA. If I give you any advice, you have to go to IAPA.
Okay.
Yeah. At least once, just to open your mind to what exists out there. I mean, at some point, yeah, you can get the catalogs and whatnot, but I think you got to go there at least once to see it in person. It's I don't know. It gets my creative thinking going. I mean, did you know that you can make a waterfall spell things, right? I mean, it's just there's some weird stuff there that
something different.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen the live, and the things you see there, it's like, whoa, this exists, like in an inflatable form. That's kind of crazy.
It's a great place to have these kind of conversations too. So there's a lot of like minds who sit together all day and talk on the floor, and then have dinner, and then meet in the lobby. And some of the best conversations I've had and friends I've made have been at IAPA. Just chewing the fat about moonwalks and about business and about life.
In our booth,
this
because
industry
that's why
is
we
bigger
bring
than I
couches.
thought.
What's that?
Said, in our booth, because that's why we bring couches.
That's right. My feet get tired from walking the floor.
So, all right.
I have a question for Jim.
Yeah. Go, Ashley.
So last year, Jim, you talked about your, you kind of brushed on it this year too, but your system for your red, yellow, green system for your bounce houses, and how to keep them clean and organized, and what needs to happen for each one. I tried to implement this last year. I've been trying to do this since day one, since we started, and I've had different types of tags that I've used, and I've had such problems with the guys ripping them off or losing them, or them going missing, or they're not categorizing them right, and I'm losing my mind because something said it was clean and they left the old tag on it and they open it up, so they're not using these tags right, or losing them. And I just want to know, what is your advice and what do you do to minimize that?
Yeah. So I think Sal spoke about it yesterday. We just use those green colored tags, and it's all about communication. And everything in our warehouse and our business is as simple and as dumbed down as possible, because we try to make it as easy as possible for anybody in the building, from a gentleman who doesn't know anything about moonwalks to a guy who's been here 20 years. If you see that red tag hanging, you really don't want to take that. And it seems like to me the guys in this warehouse don't want to take the red ones because they don't want to be delivering a dirty piece. So no one ever grabs a red one by accident, because that's suicide, heading on the road with a dirty piece. The problem we would have is guys tagging them on the road because they're tired, they're busy, they're on the road. When they come back and the warehouse manager says, why aren't these pieces tagged? Oh, we were busy. Oh, we didn't have whatever the story is, right? So as they come off, he forces them to tag them from memory. They'll say, we only have one wet one. They'll say, find it. As you're unloading the truck, tell me which one it is. So it's a constant reinforcement. It's not like we set it in place and it works perfectly all the time. There's always somebody there helping them unload the trucks, a warehouse manager receiving the stuff, helping them put it away, who's their friend because he's going to help them get that truck emptied and get it reloaded for tomorrow if they need his help. So when he says, I want those pieces tagged as they come off, they kind of help him with that. And he has those on the shelf right by the warehouse door. So we're constantly tagging them and untagging them. But is there mistakes? Yeah, there is. I guess if something's
What do
not
you
tagged,
clip them with, or how do they attach? Or
so we use like a caution tape, the yellow tape you see, it says caution. It's almost like this, and you just rip a piece off and you bow tie it, and it hangs right on the strap. Literally simple. I mean, when I tell you, simple, everything is simple, simple, simple. The sign says fans, the sign says cords, the sign says 2020. If you saw the warehouse, you'd think we were all blind reading by Braille because there are signs everywhere. But it has to be that way because you're working for the lowest common denominator, and anybody can walk in there and load a truck, hopefully. But are those tags perfect? No, but they cut problems down by 70%? I think so. I really do think so. So they might tag them when they get back, but they still at least get them tagged before they get back in the building. And they're all good about saying to me or to Woody or to Mickey, this piece is really bad. I need it tagged. I need it put away. Where should I put it? It's not going back in the bin. We have bins like corrals. We'll have a corral like 40 by 60 of combos. And once it goes back in there, it's fair game for anybody usually. So we have a called sick bay, and they go in sick bay, meaning they need to be cleaned or need to be fixed. So it's a work in progress, but like everything else. But we're constantly working on it because no one wants to deliver a dirty piece, get no tip, and get yelled at by the customer, and then say to them, "Why would you deliver that piece like that? It looks ridiculous." But as simple as you make it, just a bow tie and on, and then it's also rip it off when you get there, so it's pretty easy. Sometimes the warehouse manager Woody will pull them off when they're leaving. They'll do a one more count before they leave. Mod, 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 combo, 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 popcorn, popcorn. He'll be snapping them all the green tags off as they leave. So he knows now they need to be retagged. They just can't leave a green tag on there when they come back. So there's little tricks that he does to make sure that works well.
Thank you.
I saw.
And my warehouse, when they stand up, you can see them dripping the next day, right? You can see, he'll walk by and say, tag that red. I can see that thing. That thing is literally dripping water. It's no way that's clean. So.
I saw a neat thing in Louisiana where they, and it was similar. In fact, we used the same method. It was the same kind of tape that you're talking about, except we got the little skinny, bright pink stuff that you get at Lowe's. It's still the plastic tape.
Yeah, that's what we have, very skinny stuff.
Yeah, and so when we had it cleaned, the guys would actually initial their name on it and tie it onto the thing, and it was breaking when they go to set it up. And that way, if it's really ugly, we know who to come back to and go, that was not clean.
Right. So we do that with our food machines. We built wooden boxes for every food machine.
Yeah.
Orange is for cotton candy machine. Blue is for snow cone, and red is for popcorn. They travel that way. It's much safer. But when that goes into a plastic bag, it's signed by somebody saying what day it was working and clean. Nothing worth driving an hour to getting with a popcorn machine that's not working. So they're dated and they're tagged before they leave the building. But we don't do that with moonwalks. Maybe we should, but we haven't had a problem with the cleanliness on moonwalks as bad as the popcorn and cotton candy was driving me crazy. The glass was breaking, the things were breaking. So into boxes, and they're tagged with a ready to rent tag.
We lost a lot of glass too. Did you make your own boxes?
Yeah. If I spin my camera, can you see that box in my corner over there? I don't know if I'm showing you the right thing. There's an orange box there.
Yes.
Yeah. So we moved our office. I stole the boxes for all my personal records. So that's full of tax returns and personal papers. But it's going to go back this year to an orange box in the cotton candy machine.
Cool.
Yeah, we made our own boxes. Yeah, and every year we repaint them. And yeah, it works out really well. They have handles and they're stackable, so they can get in the truck in a stackable fashion. It's really nice. That took about 20 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
But now we can't live without it. They go on the warehouse racks that way. When they're not in the box, they're dirty. When they're in a box, that means they're clean, and we move up to the front of the building.
But why stack them and take care of them when you can replace glass every week?
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Yeah.
I changed all my glass to plexiglass, and I have like extra plexiglass in the warehouse that I just slide through, so I can fix it quick.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's a huge change for us a couple of years ago. And now since then, I spoke to Tony Castle about. He does his cocktails in a box, so now we have boxes for our cocktail tables. We fit 3 to a box, and we dolly them around the warehouse so much easier. Yeah. So every year, we're trying to get better every year with organization and streamlining the process and moving things through the warehouse easier.
Did you ever have problems with dollies in the back of a truck sliding around and breaking stuff? I consistently had guys putting the dollies through the sides of our blowers.
Oh, no,
The-
never had that one.
Yeah, maybe my guys were special.
But we don't tie them down. They just throw them in there at the last minute where we can fit them. We jam them in like a toothpick.
Really? All right.
Yeah. Yep. We don't tie them down usually.
I
But we
had,
never had that problem. We've had every other problem, but never that problem.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice to see you, Ashley.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, got a quick question for you. I noticed a lot of people saying that they got a whole bunch of quantity over quality, because I know, you know as well as I know, somebody finds a jumper for pretty cheap, they're going to try to pick it up and use it until they can't use it anymore. How do you feel about that? Because me, I know I would rather have more stuff going out every weekend versus having an inventory where stuff sits all the time and you're never using it. At what point do you feel like a ratio of where you should have quantity that stays in the warehouse as far as older stuff that never goes out versus how many times should you see it rent out? In other words, I guess I'm asking.
How many rentals will a piece get for a good life?
Well, so more of a when should you get rid of a piece if
yeah.
you don't see it going out? You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, I know. I understand. Yep, I understand. Yeah, so I guess once you purchased it and you have it on your website and you've committed to the piece, you might as well let it go for a while, I would think. My product line is so narrow now that all my stuff goes. I don't have that problem anymore. But I did buy at one time a Wizard combo, I think, from E-Inflatables. That was not that popular, and we kept it in the back of the warehouse for emergencies and for special occasions. Because it seems like you always have an emergency or something always goes wrong. It's nice to have a piece in your barn that's not on your website that you can always pull out of your pocket on a Saturday afternoon at noontime when something goes really wrong or you're overbooked. So if it's not taking up any space and it's really not hurting you, I would leave it in the warehouse for emergencies and keep it, but not really advertise it if you don't want to. If that answers your question, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm missing the question, but I have 3 or 4 things like one-offs I've bought at auctions and things that I have a Mickey Mouse. I think it's a 13 by 13 Mickey Mouse Ninja Jump piece that has never seen the website. It's only been out of the building once for my nephew, I think, and it just sits back there. But Woody knows if the case is an emergency, or we have an angry customer or something's really bad, that Mickey Mouse piece will come out of the box for the first time and look like $1 million and could be there in 10 minutes if I had to get it out of the warehouse. So that's how I would treat it. I don't know if that answered your question, Kevin. I'm sorry, but I would just keep it. I mean, if you have it and you like it, keep it, right?
Yeah, I'm talking more of like if you got. So I hear a lot of people saying they got 100 and 200 pieces. Well, is that 100 and 200 pieces going out every single week, or are you just having inventory stacked? That's what I'm saying. Like, where is the point to get rid of inventory?
I understand. So if you have 100 pieces that aren't going out, then you're not marketing that product right, or it's not priced right. It's not the product's fault, I would think, right? Maybe lower your price point or change your marketing strategy on that. Move it on your website to a different location. Maybe change its name. Maybe change who you're marketing that piece to. There's a few things you can do to move that product. If you own the product already and it's already been delivered and you paid for it, I would spend more money on marketing it until you beat the shit out of it. Unless it's really a bad piece, but I don't think you'd have 100 really bad ones like that.
No. We're at 21 pieces. I just hear people saying that they got a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, does that stuff really go out every weekend, or is it just sitting in the warehouse? In other words,
good question.
That's where I was asking at.
Yeah, no, good question. Guy says he has 200 pieces, but he does 12 rentals a weekend. Yeah, I guess then he's overbought, right? He's ahead of the curve, but we always say here, it's not like fish. They're not going to go bad. If you use a Moonwalk once a year, it's not going to go bad. It's not going to rot on the shelf like a restaurant will lose inventory. So patience and market it better and see if you can bring that piece back to the front and move your pieces and do more marketing to get that barn emptied every weekend. It would kill me when I was first starting if I was totally empty in the barn. I would lose my mind, but then I would remember it's June, so I could never buy enough for June anyway, so I wasn't buying my products based on June. I was buying my products based on my budget and what I think I could move year round. Because June is June around here, June you could use 1 million pieces if you had them. So I guess I would just hold them and keep working them, and that person may have overbought, I guess.
I have for us, we have a 6 rentals per year rule. I consider it a loser item if in 1 year it doesn't get rented out at least 6 times and we sell it. But we're a year-round company, so for us the space is a premium. I'd rather take the loss than pay to store it long term. But and as for length of rentals, at 200 rentals we call it, So whenever a unit gets to 200 rentals, it gets sold. It's usually about 3 to 4 years.
Sold used?
Yeah, yeah.
Just hold on. I mean, that was a stupid question. Sold on Facebook or on the internet or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know a lot of people who do that and it works very well. For me, I don't want to sell them to a competitor or to a customer because I'd be selling quite a few pieces a year and I don't want to create a market out there that someone could buy my pieces and still get another year out of them. So I put them in a dumpster. I think we told you, yes, I put them in a dumpster and I throw them away. And additionally, for me, I have maybe 130 mods in my barn, so I couldn't tell you when I look at a piece how many times it's gone out. I can tell you I did 700 mods last year, but I don't know if piece A went out 20 times or 10 times. So I don't have a feel for that. I have a feel for based on use and based on looking at it when we open it up. I don't have an exact count for each piece. One of the problems having a lot of pieces, I guess.
No, definitely.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question? What would be like an example of a loser piece that you had to sell because it didn't rent?
Bubble Guppies. It was a themed C4 combo. That was a loser.
Okay.
Hello Kitty combo, loser.
Hello Kitty.
We had a Bounce House Spike combo that was an open top, and in Arizona it's so hot, so that was a loser.
Yep. Humbling.
Whack-A-Mole is on the loser list for this year.
Okay. So I don't know if you've seen my website, but I don't buy any pieces that have static themes on them. All my pieces rotate off and on. I don't have any piece that's like a Bubble Guppy combo. I have a generic combo, and then I do banners. So because I would be nervous of buying Bubble, whatever that was, too, as well, whatever that theme would be, because it could be probably for a couple of years, then go out of fashion, right? Nothing you did wrong. Just it was hot one year and gone the next.
I want to say something. So talking about the losers, especially like Bounce House, I'm not talking about like big stuff, but she said Hello Kitty. I was thinking, yeah, that's my loser one too. But what I did was I actually dropped the price on it because it's still a good unit.
Yep.
And it's still nice, and like kind of like you were talking about. So I just dropped the price on it, and guess what? It's catching up now.
Right.
And that's something like for years I've had it. Now, like the last 2 years, like it's actually doing well now because it's actually my cheapest one. So something to think about when you got like that loser one, just drop the price, get it out of the warehouse, you know.
Yep. Yep. Or run a Hello Kitty campaign.
Do you do a lot of banners?
So I'm a Ninja Jump guy, so everything I have is like dedicated theme. That was back in 2009. Like that's how we started doing it, and I'm not against the banners, but I'm kind of committed to because they're beautiful pieces. Like, and even Magic Jump has really beautiful pieces, like those themed ones, and I kind of like that. But I want to really start doing kind of like what Jim's doing with Busy, like going more in multiples of the same, and that's kind of where I'm trying to get. But I get why everybody does the banners. I know they're simple, they're easy, but man, I'm just torn on these dedicated ones. They're just beautiful pieces, and just that's my opinion. So
yeah. So listen, there's nothing wrong. That's a great philosophy. That's a great piece. If you want to move a lot of them and kind of streamline it and scale it, it's tough to do that with a theme, with a piece that's got a static piece on it, and you own that piece forever now, really.
Jim, do you move around manufacturers, or is there like one that you pretty much stick to?
So just like John, I was a Ninja Jump man for a long time, and then I have gone to Easy Inflatables. I like their combos and their mods. I also buy from Leisure Activities. So I just have a couple that I really stick with. Once I find somebody I like, I stick with them because they make my product. I don't have a lot of products.
Where are the banners coming from?
They come from different people, different small vendors around the country. Get solicited all the time for people to make banners, right? So different themes. Happy birthday, congratulations, sports. The technology on those is, I think I'm at $90 a piece, and I used to be at $150 or $160 a couple of years ago. So the technology has really made those better and cheaper.
Remember when?
But we went down this year from I think 14 different themes down to 10. So we keep shrinking. Wow. We even keep shrinking the banner inventory. I don't want to have that many banners in my warehouse. So we now only have our top 10 made the cut this year when we moved. 6 of them got cut and left on the warehouse floor at the old place.
Hey Jim, Richard here. I've talked to Sal a lot, as you know, but one of the things that's always really impressive is like your guys' processes, especially with your banners. he's told me a little bit about that, like how you guys keep your banners, how your processes start from the time you get up to you load your trucks. But can you talk a little bit about how you keep your banners organized? Because mine are at the back of the garage right now, and sometimes I don't know if I'm grabbing happy birthday or, Halloween. So.
Yep. So a couple years ago at Apple, we had a big meeting about that, and everyone brought their pictures of how they stored their banners. Some guys had 4-inch PVC. I had sonnet tubes at the time. Some guys had rolling racks, and some taped them, and some Velcroed them. It was 180 degrees of different ways of taking care of your banners, and they were all effective to some people. Some had them on wheels that they wheeled them around the warehouse, and they would get into where they needed them. So we're such a banner business that we categorize things in the warehouse as one of the important things. Banners is one of my most important things in the warehouse. So that sits right by the door. I can send you a picture afterwards. It's a rack about 8 feet tall with just shelving. Simple. I'm a carpenter by trade, so simple plywood, 2x4s, and shelving. And it says the top 5 most popular, wherever that word is now. And those top 5 that went out the most last year sit right there. So you can literally put your hand out on the way to a truck or the way back, because those are going to come and go all day long. And for me, the top one is happy birthday, maybe 4 to 1. I do more happy birthdays than I do anything else, maybe 4 or 5 to 1. So I have 2 big bins that are 4 feet wide by 3 feet tall, dedicated to happy birthdays, coming and going. If you reach in there for a happy birthday, it's clean and ready to go. When you come back, if your piece is clean, it goes right back in there. So it never leaves more than 2 feet from the front door. If it's dirty, it goes back to the tent table and gets cleaned. But if you can't find one up front, that means there's a few clean out back. Because if I have 60 of those in the barn, Sal only has 40 on the website. I should always have the ability to have 20 in transit or 20 being cleaned or, coming and going. When a guy leaves here on Sunday, he made it a happy birthday banner, but they were all out yesterday. So that 20 gives me the option of having 20 extra pieces in the barn at all times. So we manage those banners that way, and they stay right by the front door to answer your question.
So do you guys remove the banner when you pick up the bounce house?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So that gets rolled up and put in a pile in the truck. They're rolled and folded. So a couple years ago, the man who manages the warehouse said, we can fold them. And I thought, you can't fold vinyl like that. It's going to ruin the painting. But he was right. We roll it. We then fold it. I can show you a picture of that as well. And then we stuff it into almost like a mailbox. And they stack up inside that box. And they have the word happy birthday written in Sharpie on the back of them in case you don't know what it is. So they're marked on the back, they're marked on the front, and they're in their own little cubby. Sometimes they get rolled up in the piece and we're chasing a congratulations or a sports theme. Yeah, but 95% of the time they're peeled off when the guys get there, back in the truck. Because a lot of times they're using that banner somewhere else during their day. Happy birthday comes off at 7 a.m. at a guy's house. That piece gets delivered with no banner. Their next stop, though, needs a happy birthday. So Sal would say to them, you're picking up 2 happy birthdays today on the road. You only need 1. So use one of those and bring one home and put it away. So we're constantly shuffling those. But it's easier to shuffle those than shuffle mods, right? That are static.
What are the top 5 banners that you have right now?
That's a good question. I had that list in front of me. I want to say happy birthday, princess. I got generic princess theme. Happy birthday, princess, Frozen, and maybe a sports theme with all kinds of different sports on it. And the last one might have been congratulations, or it's a party, like a big cake one with it's a party as well.
So are you using a whole bunch of unlicensed banners in that case, or how do you get around Frozen being generic?
So it doesn't have anything that says Disney on it. It just shows the generic princesses that you and I would assume.
No, I'm talking about the Frozen one.
Yeah, that just has a picture of a young girl and Elsa. And do I cross the line a little bit? Probably. If they came in here tomorrow, would I be in trouble? Possibly. I would hope they were on a little bit of non-being. I don't put the word Frozen with a trademark on there, but I kind of make it look like that as best as I can.
Do you call it Frozen on your website?
I do.
Okay. So
better watch it, Matt. You jump, might find you.
I know. Yeah. Well, we're gonna speak the truth. That's how I do it. As it could be a problem for me. It probably could be. Yeah.
Hey,
but the
Jim.
banners are a big part of our business, Richard.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
What is your process for training new employees? Do you use internal company process, or have you gotten like Jump Train or something like that, or what is your process to do it?
Yeah, so we do that internally with staffing in the warehouse and on the road. So gentlemen usually spend 1.5 years on the road as a helper, learning every step of the process from the driver they've been with. And the driver does not make delivery by himself till he's been here for a couple of years and worked on the road with somebody who's been, doing that process. So it's training by peer training, really. And then guys start in the warehouse, and they would work with Woody and start training in the warehouse on process in different specialty parts of the warehouse, banners, tent room, food room, depending on where they're going to go and what their skill set is. So I would say it's more informal based on their peers training them, and then feedback from supervisors. But it's a time as well. So a guy does not make a delivery by himself, at least for a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Thank you.
Try to do that way. Seems to be working. And then we have some in-house things they have to read and look over that are company policies and some safety guidelines. But if I told you it was really formalized, it's more informal. And that gives us a chance for the guy to say to me, hey, this guy's going to be great. Hey, this guy's having a hard time picking up simple stuff. Oh, this guy may work out. He seems like a great guy.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Richard, additionally, all
I'll
the
ask a
fans
question.
oh, go ahead, sure.
So this is spying on you guys, looking at your website, but so I noticed you guys do overnight. That's kind of what you push, but you offer, if you have a specific time frame, call or we'll adjust to it. So like me, like I started off with overnight, which made sense at the time. Then I noticed customers didn't want it overnight, so I started doing like 6 hours. I did 6 hours overnight. And I've kind of, right now, where I'm at is I do 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours overnight and weekend. And I don't really charge huge prices in between that. I've learned that customers, they'll pick what they want based. So it's like, $10, yeah, I definitely want it all day. Kind of lost my train of thought. But anyway, it's kind of worked for me. There's definitely some obstacles with it. But I was wanting to ask, like, did you kind of go through like transition to like, I know like you're overnight now, and that makes sense to me. But did you go through all those transitions too? Did you try different like hour frames per price?
So I did not. And it's been so long that I don't know why I started that way, but that's the way I did it from the first day that I began. Okay. Probably because I was doing deliveries myself, and I didn't want to go back out at 4 p.m. by that point, right?
Yeah.
I'll be tired of making all the deliveries all morning. But for us, it has worked. I know a lot of guys around the country, and Rob can speak to it, that it works for. It works for Rob, 4 hours and 6 hours. So I know it works both ways. Okay. That's just the way we have always done it. And it works for me because I know where they are in the morning. And very rarely does someone fight me on an afternoon pickup for a residential customer. If it's a park or a church and they have church in the morning, they want it out of there by 5 o'clock at night. But for residential people, it's very little pushback on keeping it overnight. Additionally, I don't want to go back to a party at 7 o'clock when people have been drinking all day and tell them it's time to pull the moonwalk out of the yard. I can't imagine that. I don't know how you guys do it. I give you credit. But someone came to my yard and said the moonwalk's going home to the barn overnight and it's dark out. I'd say, just leave it here, dude. What are you taking it for?
We make them, we start pickups at 5. So we tell them we don't work at night where we can't see what we're doing. Right. So we do charge an extra $50 overnight, and we get a lot of that. And if we don't feel like doing it, we just call them and we tell them that we're going to give them a free overnight, and they love it.
Right. Yeah. Additionally, for me, it seems like you, and this is just my opinion, I'm not criticizing anybody else. You spend all this time making a customer happy, and then the last part of your transaction is going and throwing kids out of a moonwalk and taking out of the yard, whether it's 2 p.m. or 5 or 7, right? Doesn't seem to be the way that I would want to end the transaction with that customer. And I know if you have no choice, you have to do it that way. But for me, I don't want to walk into someone's yard like the Grim Reaper and say, it's now time for that team to leave the party. Just seems like a tough way to do it. And I give you credit for doing it that way, but I couldn't do it that way.
I heard
it's funny you say that specifically because, like, so I ran into that problem. It's like you show up to the party and like, hey, we're still having a good time. Like, hey, you want a beer? I'm like, oh, I'm busy. But it's funny you say that because I added, so when my guys do deliveries, I added into the script, like, when we, this is the time we'll show back up, please help us get the kids out. And like, I specifically tell and like, it sounds silly, but like, you'd be amazed, like, it doesn't always work, but just specifically saying that the mom will come out and say, hey, it's time to get out, and they'll help you, like, let the adults know, like, help us get them out. Like, but that was like a step I had to add to my system because specifically what you just said. So
yeah. I mean, I have kids. They don't want to come in the house, and they might get the moonwalk taken away. Yeah. So to answer your question.
I feel like that's an issue regardless. We've showed up in the morning and they have the kids in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been to parties and the kids are still sleeping. High school kids sleeping there all night. They just have their phones and they're sleeping on the pillows all night. That means they like your product too, right? If they don't want it to leave, that means you delivered a good product and they're happy with it.
I know. I say I'm the bad guy when I show up. Well, yeah, the bad guys are here.
You look like the bad guy in those glasses.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's like there's a lot of snow right here. It's like really windy.
I'm only kidding.
So,
We
like,
say the party poopers are here, and everybody laughs, and it's super subtle, and everybody kind of, they're happy that you're here to get the kids to settle down anyways. But we actually added, so our overnight fee is $40, but if we get there and they want to keep the unit, we offer them, well, if they're having a great time, would you like to keep it for an extra $50? We'll just charge your card, we'll come back tomorrow. And we make more money because I have to pay my guys to go there anyways. It's not a difference, but it makes them have the option, and they feel so grateful. So that's something we implemented, and it's been very.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we do something similar. They'll call on Saturday afternoon and say, can I keep it for Sunday? And it's half price if we don't go back the next day. Yeah, it's a good revenue stream, and it's no more labor. Sure. You're going to pick it up eventually anyway, right? If you have, usually Sundays are quietest day of the weekend. I don't know about you guys.
Can you?
But we usually have the most availability on Sundays.
Let's go with their.
I see Tim Brown's in the building. He's going to say something.
Burrito thing.
Hey, how's it going?
Green.
What's up, Tim?
Hey, how'd you get the
Not-
licensed
not
Disney
the,
panels?
Originally, I bought them on the pieces, so I bought them originally when they first came out. But my Disney ones aren't licensed; they're more generic.
I forget.
Oh, I got you.
For those of you who don't know, Tim and I have
think
offices
it
about a
comes
mile
with-
apart.
Actually, you know what?
I'm
Let's do a
moving
beef
soon.
burrito there.
Oh,
that
you
keeps
are?
it easier.
Yeah, I'm going to Hanover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll be a couple more miles away.
Yeah, you'll be closer to Sal.
Right, yeah.
How you been?
Everything is good. I'm just getting ready for the season, just like you.
Yeah, right. Good. Yeah, we got some snow here yesterday. I don't know if everyone knows that, but Tim and I got snow here the last few days. We're under quite a bit of snow right now.
Yeah, it's cold out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tim, question for you. If
Hey,
you,
Al.
how you doing, man? If you could go back, to your first 5 years, what do you think were those, mistakes that you did in those 5 years that you could say, you know what, I would not do this again? I don't know if that question was, created properly.
So after my first two pieces, I bought 5 one-offs. I bought a school bus. I bought a Space Dragon. I bought a birthday cake moonwalk. I bought one of everything. And I was chasing my tail trying to move the cake around on Sunday mornings. And I just couldn't make the flips. I couldn't be everywhere at once. So the biggest mistake I made was buying one generic piece that was a dedicated happy birthday, a dedicated Space Dragon, a dedicated school bus. So I think, like John said, I love the pieces. The artwork was beautiful. The coloring, when you put it up, you was like, oh my God, it's like a beautiful 3D movie. But when on Sunday, when I had to move it from one town to the other, and it was 30 miles away or 20 miles away, I physically couldn't do it. I couldn't be everywhere. So I realized I had to shrink my product line dramatically because if you wanted to scale it, I couldn't flip those pieces to one town or the other with a number of guys. One truck would be all day moving one piece of equipment based on the generic piece being, a single piece. So that was the biggest mistake that I made, I believe, doing that. And then once I got ERS, I went from a notebook to ERS. It was like a light switch, as you all know, right? It didn't exist. I didn't get ERS till 12 years ago. So I did 12 years with a spreadsheet Excel and with a green notebook. Yeah. But I think streamlining your product line is the biggest mistake that I made.
Hey, Jim, Anthony here. I got a question for you.
Yes, hey, how are you?
Hey, good, Jim. Thanks for your knowledge and
service
your time.
also.
Thanks for your knowledge and time. Really appreciate it. Yesterday, you touched base when, last minute rentals come in on Saturday, which same thing here. You try to add the extra, items on all your different trucks, see where they are, get them over there. Do you have a dedicated warehouse truck on Saturdays and a dedicated warehouse team on Saturdays?
Yeah, always a team, not always a truck. We try to have a truck. That's our goal to have a truck. But it seems like that evaporates some days pretty quickly in the morning. By 10 a.m., that warehouse truck is already on its first problem. So sometimes with 24 trucks leaving, the guys that get to their first stop and they say, shit, we have no fan. Shit, we have no dolly. Something happened, right? We have the wrong banner. So sometimes that truck is evaporated pretty quickly right away for emergencies. But with that many trucks in a small area, we can usually say, hey, Tony, you're coming home through Milton. Could you stop and do one by noontime if we have an extra one on the truck? But to answer your question, we always have extra guys here. And 80% of the time we have a truck sitting here waiting to go on problems or last minute orders.
Gotcha.
I feel better. I just feel better when I look out and there's a truck waiting there with a moonwalk already loaded and for problems and for emergencies that it can get out for a problem.
Plus,
Yeah,
you
but
guys,
know how
you
it is.
guys have
Someone calls on Friday, that truck is loaded and ready to go. We use it if we have to.
you have an extra jump that you send out on. Is it every vehicle, or we did that? If we had
Every
it,
vehicle that's possible to fit one, yes.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, every vehicle that's possible. You know, I'm always surprised by all the farms I see and people complain about last minute calls and how they treat them.
I love it.
I treat them like gold. I mean, that makes my day. They always want to find a reason why not to do it and how much extra charge them. And they tell them, no way, we're busy. So when someone calls last minute and you help them, that's your customer for life. I think that's like found money to me in gold.
Do you charge extra for last minute?
Nope. I discount it if I can't close the deal. If they say, let me call you back, I say, could I take $10 off? What can I do to make this deal happen real quick before you hang the phone up? And I know people don't want to raise the discount, but I have enough margin there to give it a little discount if I can make that deal happen on the phone. If that doesn't do it, though, then I don't keep discounting, but I want to try to close that deal they're there with their credit card and the party's within 2 hours. What were they waiting for? You know, what was their plan?
We did the same thing too this last summer. We would keep an additional water slide if we had it, and I'd say 75% of the time that sucker got rented out, and I didn't charge extra. Jim's right. They are so thankful. It's already on the truck and loaded, and a lot of times I had one time I was only 5 minutes away when they called. You know, superhero time. And for us, it's a no-brainer to me. But we don't charge extra for parks and all the other stuff like most of you guys do too.
Yeah. I don't like it when someone calls and says, hey, anything available today? And you say yes. I say, well, I must get a big discount because you're not going to use it today somewhere else. That's not the way to start it. That's not the way to start a last minute phone call with us.
Yeah. Normally it doesn't happen that way though. Normally people are very, very thankful.
Right.
They're very apologetic for calling so late. They're sorry for calling somebody else. I mean, 90% of the time, it's a very, very positive situation. They're very, very thankful. Tips are generally bigger too in that situation as well.
I agree with that. Yeah. The guys love getting last minute calls because the tips are usually bigger and people are much friendlier.
Yep.
Usually a husband forgot to place the order and now he's in trouble.
Yeah. Jim, in order for you guys to be able to add another unit to every truck, how many stops per truck you guys have? You know,
so
that's a great
we
question.
usually max it out at between 13 and 14 stops a day. But for that last minute one, I usually get a little more flexibility, right? So if they're calling at 10, if you say I can't be there till 1:30 or 2, they have a little more flexibility because they'll take anything at that point. So to Mike's point, they're a little bit friendly, a little more flexible, a little happy to see you. So it gives us a little more time to we always do our first ones first and then shoot to that emergency one on the way home or on the way back somehow. Unless it's literally right in our neighborhood and we don't have any time constraints.
Holy cow.
Sometimes a guy will be doing deliveries and do some pickups on the way home and one of those pickups just won't come home. So you left here with 13 and delivered 14.
When you say stops, are you talking about drop off and pickup, or are you actually putting out 13 different events from one truck?
Yeah, 13 is usually our max.
Holy
pieces.
cow.
Yeah, it's a 16-foot box truck. We can get 14 pieces if we really wedge them in there, but 13 is usually our number.
Yeah.
You guys are good Tetris players.
It's not so much the number of jumps in a truck because we had the same kind of size trucks, but it's our routes. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but our routes were way more spread out. There wasn't physically enough time in the day to get the drive time in. So you guys, that is
the more trucks that we manage and he manages, it's easier because people are everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can shop in one town 3 times sometimes within 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is the economy of scale that I was alluding to earlier. And when I first started, I was doing a job on one side of town and it might be an hour drive to set up the next event. But if you have a whole bunch of events, then you can make these really tight, concentrated routes.
Right.
That's amazing, and your guys must be really strong too. That sounds exhausting.
Well, there's always 2 guys and sometimes 3 on a truck. Sometimes we have the bench seat. So if they're doing a lot of combos or they're doing a lot of slides, we'll get a young guy in there for a third pair of hands to do fans, cords, and stakes for them as a learning process and to keep that process moving, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget, they pull out here at 4:30, 5 o'clock sometimes. We try to have everything done by noontime, so that's an 8-hour day really by noon.
Right.
Yeah, and if the pieces are all clean and the truck is packed in the exact right order, they're just flipping off the next one, just flipping off the next one. They pull up the piece they need right there. They're not moving anything.
Are you using a separate team for the pickups, or are the same guys going back out?
Go different routes. So
Okay.
you might not pick up the same piece. You may be in the same town, but someone else may need that piece somewhere else.
Got it.
So it's not guaranteed the same guys, but we get the next day.
Got it.
So that's kind of the way we work the board here and try to figure out who's going to do what the next day based on paper.
Yeah, and all of your rentals are overnight? Is that?
90%.
Yeah, okay.
Unless the church or corporate work.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, your truck's diesel or gas?
Gas.
Nice.
I kind of wonder, because I want to ask that question
diesel
about
or gas?
the time slots, like how you do it
I'm
overnight.
gas too.
I'm sorry. John, I'm sorry.
Well, I find it interesting. You said you can do 13 drops because, like, you guys are delivering between like maybe 7 and 12, I think. 'Cause that's kind of like your time frame.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you can pick the times, like you could, because when you have dedicated times, like I do 4, 6, 8 hours, I might have to drive all the way across the city, which I'm in Indianapolis. So like, that might take me 40, 50 minutes to get over there because I have to be dedicated to that time.
I understand.
Slot. And I'm impressed by that. I'm like, well, maybe I should like reconsider my time because like I like the progression of the money because I can offer quote a cheaper product at a lower hour rate, and then as it progresses in time, like, oh, I do want it overnight. Now I got really good money out of this same product. It's like I might be actually more expensive than you in that sense.
Right.
But no, I'm going to think on this one. It just was interesting.
Well, you can still deliver early.
Guys don't want to give out a 4-hour window. It's kind of inconsiderate for their customers. So as you get closer to your delivery day, once those routes are made up, we give them a 2-hour window because no one's going to sit from 7 to 11 waiting for a delivery. They got shit to do that day, stuff to do that day. Excuse me.
This might be a dumb question, and you would have brought it up before, but it's kind of mind-boggling. You mentioned that your guys get there around 4:30 in the morning. 5, we're getting there. What do they do between that time and 7 when your first delivery time? Like, what are they doing in the warehouse and storage between that time from getting there to delivery?
Yeah, so we're located south of Boston. They have to go north of the city sometimes, so they may have an hour and a half drive before their day starts. So if they're in at 4:30, they're out by 4:45. They're on the road possibly till 6:15, and they arrive in that area somewhere, get a coffee, and then they start their day about 6:30. We do pickups at 6:30. 6:15. They may have 2 pickups on the way up to their first destination. So the ones that are in at 4:30 have a little bit of work to do before their first delivery, either a long ride or a couple pickups first. And the customer will know the day before, we need your piece tomorrow somewhere else. We could be in your yard at 6:30. So they're aware of that. So we do early pickups, but not early deliveries. And honestly, when we're really busy in June, if Sal calls and says, hey, can we get there early? People say, come at 6, dude. We really don't care. We're up at 6:30. The earlier you come, the better. No one ever says, don't come early, we're sleeping in. So there's not much pushback on starting our day at 6:30. But usually it's to beat traffic and to get through the city and be a half an hour early to our destination as to be a half an hour late with traffic.
Awesome, thank you.
You and I meet in Las Vegas, did we sit together?
Yeah, you're supposed to come to Green, Texas. You never came by.
You were supposed to come to Boston. You told me you were coming this way. I remember meeting you. Nice to see you again.
Oh, we still got to figure out, hey, your daughter was going to dancing school. How's that going?
Yeah, good. She didn't go to Oklahoma. She ended up going to Kentucky. She's in Lexington, dancing in Lexington right now. Yeah, I thought she was going to go to Oklahoma State and dance there, but she did not. You have a good memory.
Oh, I got hit in the head too many times. I might give Sal the money and run for his money in that one.
All right. Sorry about your Cowboys this year. They didn't do well again.
I've got another stupid question. Oh, go ahead.
How you doing?
Go ahead. First off, the Cowboys haven't done well for the last 25 years, so don't feel sorry for us. In regards to, and I apologize if this has already been asked or if this is a dumb question as well, but in regards to either a delivery fee or minimum orders for certain areas, zip codes, minimum order amount, what is your thought process on that?
So we have a map on our website that highlights the delivery fees. So it's based on geography. We create zones, almost like a weather map, with with the snow coming in different colors. We start as we get further from our office. We have a different delivery fee based on your location. So it's based on zip code, and we have a minimum order. But I'll be very honest with you. If someone calls on Saturday and wants a popcorn machine or they want a couple tables and we're in the area, We very rarely say no to a minimum order. If I'm gonna go out a half an hour ride
Sure.
for one piece and we're not in the area, we may say no, there's a minimum, but that doesn't happen too often because, again, the economies of scale allows us to be in every area every day. We work in such a condensed area, we can usually make it happen. So minimums, we don't enforce that well.
Right.
Delivery, delivery charges are based on zip code like everybody else and how far we travel from our warehouse. It's not a
Okay,
mile.
so you
time.
go off the,
Yeah, we go off of a map. That's
yeah,
what the customer can see on.
I've talked,
Sorry.
okay. I've talked to some people that basically make it like certain zip codes have a minimum delivery, delivery order. And then obviously like you guys do the delivery fee. So just kind of trying to figure out how we want to move forward with that.
Yeah, so we phrase it delivery, setup, and removal fee, not delivery fee. That includes your delivery, all your setup, all your equipment, and your removal. So you're giving them a four-pronged approach to that delivery fee, right? Make it time they're getting more for their money. Additionally, if they call Sal on a Saturday afternoon and say, can you waive the fee? I'm in Milton, and we got a truck from Milton all day anyway. We'll waive that fee in a heartbeat to get that one more stop while they're there because we're already in that town anyway. So we will try to waive that and make that deal happen. But to put 6 pieces on our truck as opposed to 7, it's a no-brainer for our margins, right? So we're flexible sometimes on the travel fee if they're really pushing back and thinking about not taking the order. But you can tell on Wednesday we're going to be on Saturday, so we kind of manipulate that board a little bit based on our schedule. If they're willing to pay a travel fee and they don't question it, we get there and do 7 stops in one town, even better. Great margin day.
Right, right. You don't. I'm done. Thanks.
I was going to maybe add to that. If you ever thought, so kind of like he was talking about, I've had this idea too. Like I have some bigger cities that are about an hour and a half away because I like to keep my territory kind of a certain area. But what if I'm sending a whole truck up there with like 5 or 6 units on it? Have you guys ever like ventured in I think you just said it right at the end of that. So maybe you answered that question. Because I've been torn on the idea of, well, would it be cool to send a truck up there or maybe open up a smaller facility up there? Because I do have some like other territories around me that I think that are marketable. That just
that's very similar to the time frame or the overnight. A lot of guys operate with 2 or 3 warehouses and it works very well for them. For us, we've always been a single hub location and just spreading out from that location just to keep things simple here. Again, going back to the simple model. Could we probably have a warehouse somewhere else on the other side of the city? Possibly. But to manage inventory and to manage staff and to keep quality control, we've always believed that the single hub for us is the best. Rather have a 1-hour ride in the morning as opposed to managing 2 warehouses all day. But I know plenty of guys who have multiple. I know Michael has multiple locations around Atlanta, and I know guys in Texas who have multiple locations. So I guess it's whatever your model is, right? Again, it's vanilla and chocolate ice cream. There's a million ways to do it.
Yeah, because I thought I was like, man, that's you just said it's like, man, it's hard to manage a whole nother team somewhere else. So you got to really build a strong community, like some of you guys have been preaching a lot. So
there's a lot of fixed costs with another location. I think there's a lot more fixed costs associated with that number. So if you're worried about margins, your fixed costs, up here, we only work 6 months a year. So that would be 12 months of fixed costs for 6 months a year again.
See, I've kind of had this idea, like, because I like to diversify myself. I've thought about the idea of like building a storage unit facility somewhere and build like a mini kind of small warehouse to where I can run an operation out of there, a bounce house rental, and plus have, one property manager running that. And I own real estate. I got a business, and just thinking. So,
yeah,
but
you got to be always thinking. Yeah, a lot of guys have, I think, cold storage centers and almost like distribution centers. Trucks can pull in there and grab pieces when they're 20 miles from the shop.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, great idea. Yep. Very good idea. I know a lot of guys who think that way and do that.
Hey, Jim, besides Google and Facebook, what are your other methods of advertising and getting your name out there? I know I've talked to Sal a little bit about it, but what do you think are some of your main ways and your main return outside of the obvious Google and Facebook?
Yeah. So I think after speaking with Sal, you must realize he's got a pretty good handle on AdWords. He spends a big part of his free time reading and videoing and watching about becoming a Google AdWords specialist, and he tries to absorb all that knowledge. So I would say in the last 5 to 7 years, we have really focused on Google AdWords and, pay-per-click and CPC and all those words that he throws around over my head all the time. So I would think that Google AdWords is our main source of revenue right now. But in the past, we've done postcards, we've done direct mail, we've done email blasts, We've done little magazine, colorful magazines when we service a small area. We've done television in Spanish and television in English. We partnered with a local TV station and did festivals every weekend. They give us so much airtime every week. But I think, if anybody, I think you probably agree with Sal that right now, Google AdWords is where our business lives as far as customers, correct?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, you guys are just killing it in AdWords.
That's all Sal's work for the last 20 years, 10 years.
Yeah, I've been working with him and going over that, but the other streams of advertising was always something I wondered about from you guys. Like, I know he talked about radio before as well, and just the kind of return you have seen on that outside of the obvious, because Google AdWords is obviously profitable for a lot of people, but what's the other methods that work for a larger company?
Yeah, I think Facebook is an emerging market for us, and Instagram, right? You think those will be key players in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I actually just talked to Sal about that a couple days ago about retargeting on Facebook. So for you guys, I'm sure, I mean, you guys have such a strong name. It makes a lot of sense.
Right. I think it's also, I'm sure you'd agree that it's cheaper to keep your old customers, right? So we try to work that list. We have a nice database of customers who like us. If you spend all that time making your customers happy, you should exploit that goodwill, right? And get them to come back every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep them for so many years. We have an average life chart, how long we keep them, how many times we service our average customer. So every couple of years we have our database appended, and it tells us who our typical customer is and how often they use us and where they live and how many kids they have. It's really a cool process. Your average customer has 2.4 kids. They use you 7.2 times. They live within 6.7 miles of your office. So it's really interesting data on what it costs you to get somebody and what it costs you to keep. If you use them 4 times, what you really cost of acquisition, right? If you can keep them for 4 years in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the main questions that I get from people, or that I hear in the Facebook groups or see in the Facebook groups, is billboards. Have you guys ran billboards, and have they worked for you that you know of? Or?
Roadside billboards?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if you met banner ads on different websites. No, so we have not. I have friends who are in the jewelry business, and they actually swear by billboards on the highway. But in where we are in metropolitan Boston, I think a billboard in this area goes for $27,000, $28,000 a month. So we have not jumped into that yet. That kind of be a big change for us. Additionally, Sal has the Google AdWords working so well that some days we say, why are we trying to fix something that's not broken some days? We're always trying to get a better process and a better marketing tool. But some days we say at the end of the day, it's working so well, maybe we're just trying to fix something that's not broken. Yeah, and $30,000 for an investment for a month is a big jump in on something that's unproven for our business.
Yeah. Jim, I have a question.
Hey, Ian.
I know, thank you so much for your time. Knowing you and your process has helped us a lot. We actually are our most popular combo now. We have 6 of those, and we only have about 40 units total. So, looking at your website, like, it very much mirrors your philosophy. Like, I can browse everything you have within about 10 seconds. That front page is great. So can you talk about that and like the journey that you went on with your website design and how much more efficient it is, how many less calls I would imagine you get now?
Yeah, so I think I just spoke to that with Richard a minute ago. Sal spends about half his day on other people's websites and our website and researching. Even like yesterday, Richard used Nike for an example. Sal pulls up websites from big corporations and says to me, see how easy it is for me to get to here, to get to here? See how when I type in black sneakers, it goes right to black sneakers? So he's constantly chasing. It's almost like the dog track. You chase that little rabbit around the thing. He's constantly chasing to get that thing better and better and more tight. So literally, he designed that site with Dave Barnes based on modeling and things he had seen that he liked. He took pieces and parts from everybody he had seen and tried to create the easiest way so that when people are on their phone, they're not scrolling forever. They're going right to the product quickly as possible. So you have to speak to Sal more about that, but it's a work today. Yesterday, he was talking about changes that he wants to make that thing quicker and better because he thinks he can get it tighter again to let that process become better. So it's just about research and time and his knowledge of AdWords. And then, as you probably know, Hotjar is a big part of his day too because he watches my customers' patents on his customers' patents on the website and where we lose them and where they really like it and what they see. And he'll say to me, "You see this picture here? No one's ever looked at that. It's been almost 3 months since someone clicked on that picture or that part of the website." So he's constantly chasing those patents. I know he works with David a little bit and designed the website, but it's all from Sal's research, and his, that website is his baby 24 hours a day.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd like to take credit for it, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah, Dave's done a great job too with all those innovations and quick view buttons. That's
Yeah, and I know
awesome.
Sal was excited when he got people they could go back. When you go in and out of my website, it brings you back to what you looked at last time. It has artificial intelligence. So if you looked at a mod for a half an hour, it starts you off at a mod because he thinks that's what you like, what you looked at last time. So it's amazing the web traffic and the conversions he gets based on that. But I wish he was here, but he'd be better to speak to that because that's his baby.
Sure.
I'm an old guy. I got a typewriter on my desk. Hey, how long ago did I meet you, Ian? 6 years ago?
I believe that was in New Orleans.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, hearing you guys talk about the multiples of units. I'll tell you this year, I mean, we only did about 160 grand, but this year, 3 items were 50% of our gross.
Good
So,
for you.
yeah,
That makes
that,
it easy.
yeah, absolutely. That's based
Yeah.
on your recommendation there.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it. Thank you very much.
I was shared that information, the same concept from Race that a lot of you guys know, Bay Area Jump, and I'm being told that we're running out of time. Let's see. It's just we can make another breakout room and start letting people go to support if they want, or we can keep going here. Okay. So I remembered these numbers. So I had a dedicated Princess Castle, and that was my #1 renter for years, and I was always averaging right around 67 rentals a year. And then I went to Race, and I got the exact same advice that Jim is giving right now, which is get more mods and banners. And I bought, I forget how many, it was 4 or 5 more for the subsequent year. And the very next year, my #1 rental were the mods, and I averaged 77 rentals on each one of them. So it wasn't just one better renter. It was every single one of them that I bought did better than my best renter the previous year. And so I tell everybody, when you go to IAAPA, watch out for the eye candy, because it's a little too easy to fall into that is gorgeous, when really just matching the theme that they're asking for is what they're looking for.
You have to announce
Because they're all the same inside, Rob, right?
out by default because we ran out of space.
Has anyone done well with modular slides? Is there such a thing like 18, 19 foot, 20 foot slides? Because that's been my top
Control
runner
panel.
the last couple of years has been my 20 foot, my 22 or 23 foot tall water slide. So does anybody have modulars in that sort of deal?
I do not, but I think they're a nice idea, but we'd already committed to a different brand when
Yeah.
those came out, so we were already in bed with a different kind of product that we didn't want to switch with. But those seem to be a nice product to me, how your birthday slide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that would work the same as a mod.
I have to
The
do it.
inflatable sells one, and we've had
Yeah.
one for 14 years,
Yeah.
and they rent out really well.
Yeah. Yeah, and E-Inflatables makes great slides, by the way. Here's a technical announcement. We're about to get kicked out. Oh, look at that. It even said that up there. We need to take a 10-minute break, and then if you go into your back-end control panel, there's a link to come right back in. And this is because we actually hit our limits on how many people can join in these discussions. So we're adding more rooms so that we can do some tech support breakout as well. So if you guys could take a 10-minute break and then click the control panel link in the back end of your website, we will come right back, and we can pick up from here. You can do breakouts, switch around, whatever you want. All right, and Jim, thank you.
Hey Rob, you said website. Are you talking about ERS or
Your
you talking
ERS,
about-
your ERS control panel where you log in to take an order. Yep, back end. We put a link at the top where we normally put up other announcements. We have a link straight to the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Rob.
Everybody.
Rob,
Yes.
what if we are on our phone right now and not near our desktop? Can we just stay on this? How do we get back to that?
It's going to boot you out, but you can still log into your back end from your phone.
Okay.
Have you ever taken an order from your phone?
No.
All right.
Bernie, I'll send you a link, bro. I'll send you a link. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. We'll get you covered one way or another. All right. Great. Thanks, guys.
Thing too, just for testing purposes, because I want to see if we can get to that 100-person limit,
Okay.
and then see if we can get a few more people from the office on, just to make sure that it's working.
Okay, perfect. I will just stay here and kind of minimize everything.
Just
Awesome.
go to
Thank you.
anybody's back end.
Thank you kindly.
And
You're
at the
welcome.
top there's a link to the meeting. And then from there we can go to breakout rooms. And,
Hi, Rob.
And I don't know what breakout room names he's going to give them, but...
I should go ahead and click the close all rooms button, right?
Yes, go ahead.
I think it gets...
Hey, Rob.
Yes, we're about to boot everybody, so check back in.
Hey, on the next room when we get in here, can you juggle so I can see it in live video?
You haven't seen it yet? I did it yesterday or day before.
It's different when it's live right here.
All right, all right.
We can carry on.
I'll do it again. We'll do a wide angle. You got it.
You rock, Rob. I love seeing that stuff. Now, are we gonna do like knives or flaming arrows?
I have rings and maybe some. I don't know what I have here, but usually I just keep rings around the office. I'll take a look.
Can we light them on fire and watch you?
Yeah, I can't do fire in a building. Yeah.
Man, you're the boss. You can do what you want.
I know. Well, when I own the building, which I don't. All right. Noah's about to boot us all out. We'll see you guys in 6 minutes. We'll come back at 12:10.
I walked into the end of that. He can only do what he wants if me and Susie let him.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Now we know who's really in charge. Yep. All right. See you guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Olga.
So it kicked me out, and then do I have to join
Yes.
a different group?
It's going to kick everybody out of every group, and then you're going to come back in from the control panel of the back end of your website where you normally take an order. We've actually added a link into everybody's back end control panel.
Oh, okay.
And,
Olga.
yep.
And when we come back in, she's very sad about that. You introduce her.
Haha.
So
Yeah, he didn't let me introduce myself.
I'm sorry. I didn't
It's okay.
see you. You know what I think it is it's because you didn't have your video on.
Yeah, it's because I'm running around doing a bunch of stuff, but I have you guys in my ear on Bluetooth.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, I wanted to make sure I'm with you guys, listening and yeah, just being here.
Very
Hey.
All right. So in theory, he's going to kick us all out. If not, you might have to kick yourself out. But we'll be back in about 5 minutes. If you follow
Is
the
it
link.
a Zoom thing too?
Yeah, it's still Zoom. We're just going into an area where we have more room for more people because we actually hit our limits and people can't join at this point. So
Okay.
we had 100 people per room limit and we're over that. So we just need people to log out and log back in using that other link.
So
All
we
right.
were basically like sardines in a can.
Yes, you might not have felt it, but it was true. Yep. Cool.
And then the link. that
I'm
was
very
supposed to be
talkative, and I know I couldn't get a word in edgewise.
Well, yeah, it's there. We're in a group of talkative people, so there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, come back in and
I'll kick myself out, okay?
and yell. All right, sounds good. We'll see you in a
All
sec.
right.
Bye.
All right, thanks.
It says converting media recording. Should I let it record this? Do we care? Yeah?